Welcome, dear viewers, to Movie Snap World. Today we're reviewing Under Your Bed 2019, a disturbing thriller where obsession turns into a terrifying nightmare. A lonely man, an unhealthy fixation, and a horrifying secret hiding just beneath. Stay tuned to uncover this chilling story. At the beginning of the movie, a boy named Mitsui is seen hiding under the bed of a lady in her house. He keeps looking at the lady's feet from below, but then the lady's husband comes and throws the lady on the bed. In a little while, Mitsui sees both of them taking off their clothes. After that, the bed above him starts shaking violently. The girl was screaming in pain as if all this was happening without her consent. Poor Mitsui gets sad and then touches the bed. Now, scene shifts from here and comes to the flashback when Mitsui was in school. Mitsui did not have any friends in the school. He used to remain very quiet and solitary that everyone used to ignore him. Even if a photo of the class group was taken, no one would know whether he is in these school photos or not. Time passes by. Mitsui reaches college, and one day, when Mitsui's teacher asks him a question, which he did not know, then from behind a girl named Chihiro gives him her copy. Seeing this, Mitsui feels very good, because for the first time someone had behaved so well with him. After the class and being scared, asks Chihiro for coffee, to which Chihiro agrees. While drinking this coffee, Mitsui asks Hiro about her hobbies. He tells her that he loves tropical fishes, and his house is full of aquariums. He says that he can set an alarm in her house as well, to which Chihiro agrees. After which, the next day, he goes to her house to set up an aquarium, but she was not there. Now, here, the story goes 11 years into the future, where we come to know that Mitsui last met Chihiro in the same cafe, after which he is searching for her. After so many years, he has not been able to forget Chihiro. Even now, he still drinks same coffee which he had with Chihiro too. Actually, in these 11 years, Chihiro had got married, and she also had a little daughter. Mitsui is very happy to get the address of Chihiro, and he immediately leaves for her house. But when Chihiro comes out of her house, she looked very weak and sad, as if some grief is eating her up. She goes by the side of Mitsui, but she is unable to recognize him. Here, Mitsui had come to see her just once, but after seeing her in such a condition, he starts thinking what happened actually in these 11 years that Chihiro has broken so much. So he decides that he will make Chihiro cheerful as she was before, for which he rents an aquarium shop in front of her house and starts living on the 3rd floor of the same building. He installs the Chihiro's picture on the wall of his room and keeps a dummy wearing Chihiro's dress, because just by touching that mannequin, Mitsui felt that Chihiro was around him. Now, at night, Mitsui keeps an eye on things with the help of a telescope. Mitsui was having dinner with her husband. Everything was fine at first, but suddenly her husband starts beating her. Mitsui is very shocked to see this. Next morning, he goes outside where he sees Chihiro saying goodbye to her husband as he is leaving for office. Looking at both of them, it did not seem that anything had happened between them last night. As soon as Chihiro turns, we can see wounds on her eyes. After which, Mitsui also gets convinced that there is something wrong between Chihiro and her husband. Now, Mitsui used to send her a bouquet of flowers along with a please be happy card every day, which Chihiro threw in the garbage every day. She never even tried to find out who was sending the card to her. One afternoon, Chihiro comes to Mitsui's aquarium shop. Mitsui is very surprised to see her. There, Chihiro likes one fish, but it was very expensive, so she started leaving from there. Mitsui tells her that because of the opening of the shop, we will give it free to the first customer. Chihiro becomes very happy on hearing this. Actually, Mitsui had told all this as a lie because he did not want Chihiro to go away from his shop disappointed. Now, after some time, Mitsui goes to fit the fish tank in her flat. After the fish tank is assembled, Chihiro becomes very happy, and Mitsui feels very happy seeing her happy. Now, seeing the opportunity here, Mitsui steals the keys of Chihiro's flat, and after a while, he takes its measurement and leaves it there. Along with it, he also fits a mic in the lighter and keeps it in the bedroom so that he can hear the conversation between Chihiro and her husband. After that, he comes to his house, and when it is nighttime, then through the same mic, he comes to know that Chihiro's husband beats her a lot. Mitsui feels very bad on hearing all this, but he could not do anything. After this, the next day, when Chihiro takes her son for a walk, Mitsui goes into her house and stealthily cleans the fish tank. and he changes the battery in the lighter. This goes on for a few days, but one day when Mitsui is about to leave after cleaning the apartment, he remembers that he has left the duplicate key in Chihiro's room. But unfortunately, Chihiro also comes back home, but Mitsui somehow manages to escape from there. Next day, Chihiro comes back to Mitsui's shop to buy food for her fish, where Mitsui offers coffee to her. Friends, Mitsui had drunk this same coffee with Chihiro 11 years ago. After a while, Chihiro leaves from there with food for the fishes, but Mitsui picks up the coffee cup from which she drank and kisses it there. From this, we come to know that Mitsui was completely obsessed with Chihiro. Mitsui thinks that it is not right to visit Chihiro's house daily. So he makes a plan, and the next day after making all the arrangements, he goes secretly and hides under Chihiro's bed. At night, when Chihiro's husband comes, Mitsui can see the atrocities being committed on her from under the bed. Friends, if you remember, the beginning was also from this scene. Well, the next morning when the husband wakes up, he finds a Please Be Happy card sent by Mitsui, after which he descends into brutality because he felt that Chihiro is having an affair with someone. Chihiro tries to explain to him, but that monster doesn't understand anything. He drags her to the bathroom and beats her there, too. Mitsui, who is hiding under the bed, sees all this and was getting angry on himself because the card sent by him caused the condition of his love. After this, at night, when the Chihiro's husband goes to sleep, then Mitsui comes out from under the bed and goes straight to the bathroom where he sees that Chihiro's condition is very bad, and she is lying unconscious in bathtub after being beaten up. Mitsui pick her up from there and immediately bring her to the drawing room and try to dry her body with his shirt. After this, he covers her with a blanket and leaves for his house. After this, when Chihiro wakes up in the morning after pulling the blanket away, she also became convinced that someone was keeping an eye on her. She comes to the bedroom and said, "Whoever you are, if you can hear me, please help me." That lighter was lying in the corner of the bedroom in which the mic was fitted. That is why Mitsui overhears all the conversations of Chihiro, after which Mitsui decides that this time, if Chihiro's husband raises his hand on her, then he will not leave him alive. Next day, Chihiro's mother calls her at home, which she tells him that her father's health is very bad, and he is hanging between life and death in the hospital. At night, Chihiro tells all this to her husband and says that she wants to go to meet her father, but her bastard husband refuses her, clearly, and says that you don't have to go anywhere, let that old man die. Hearing this, Chihiro loses her temper, gets up, and slaps her husband. Now, her husband starts torturing her a lot to punish her for this. Then the camera shifts and goes behind the curtain. Where Mitsui was hiding, he tries very hard to kill her husband, but he is unable to gather courage, and, after some time, he goes to his room and starts cursing himself for cowardness. And in anger, he gives himself electric shock. That shock was so powerful that Mitsui becomes unconscious. And when he opens his eyes the next morning, he sees that Chihiro is going out of the city with her child, and he tries to follow her, but he fails. Here, Chihiro goes straight to a hotel and stays there where there was lighter with the mic in her hand. On hearing some ringing sound from inside the lighter, Chihiro opens it and finds the mic attached to it as well. She is convinced that after hearing the sound of the same mic, the unknown person is trying to help her. But then someone knocks on the door of her room. Chihiro thinks that this must be her helper, but as soon as she goes to open the door, she realizes that it is her devil husband. The husband beats Chihiro, brings her back home, and then starts torturing her at home, too. Chihiro tries, unsuccessfully, to save herself. But when her husband's torture did not stop, she started shouting loudly, "If you are listening to me, then please help me." And at that moment, Mitsui comes there, an electric shock to her husband, and makes him unconscious. Before he regains consciousness, he strangles him to death. Chihiro sees that it is the man from the aquarium shop, but she is unable to recognize him. She did not remember that she had met Mitsui 11 years ago. After this, the next day, Mitsui goes to the police station and surrenders himself. Chihiro goes to him at his house, but there was no one there. But she finds many of her pictures there. She also sees a mannequin wearing her clothes, and finally she remembers that the person who helped her out is her college mate, Mitsui. But it was too late. She immediately goes to the police station and calls him by his name. Mitsui becomes very happy on hearing his name from Chihiro's mouth, and our movie ends with sad but satisfying ending here. I want to make one thing clear, that our channel does not encourage any kind of stalking or harassment of women, and I have explained this only for entertainment. If you liked this explanation, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and share it with your friends.